In the thick fog that enveloped Oakland Cemetery in Iowa City, a legend emerged that has cast its shadow over the town for more than a century. The Black Angel, a cold bronze figure standing over 8 feet tall, cloaked in darkness and mystery, became a symbol of fear for the locals, who feared approaching the statue even during the day, let alone at night, when the moonlight cast eerie shadows over its dark wings, making it seem almost alive. The Black Angel was erected in 1912 by Teresa Feldwirth in memory of her son Eddie, who had died at a young age. Originally, the statue was a shining bronze, symbolizing purity and light, but over time, it took on a menacing black hue. While historians attributed the change to natural oxidation, the townspeople believed otherwise. The dark color became linked to curses, death, and something far more sinister. Sarah was one of the few brave enough not to fear the stories. She had visited the cemetery often, seeking solace in its quiet surroundings. One evening, as the sun set and darkness crept over the land, Sarah found herself standing before the angel, staring at its grim face, which seemed to gaze down in regret or perhaps judgment. She had heard the tales. They say if you touch the angel at midnight, it brings bad luck, she recalled. The hour was approaching, and though the air felt thick with an unspoken menace, Sarah decided to challenge the legend. The evening wore on, and as midnight approached, the cemetery remained empty, with only the sound of rustling leaves and the occasional gust of wind. The moment was near when Sarah could prove or disprove the old tales. Standing before the angel, she hesitantly lifted her hand. Her fingers trembled as she gently touched the cold metal. At that moment, the temperature plummeted. A chilling breeze emanated from the statue, making her fingers feel as though they were burning from the cold. Somewhere in the distance, a howling wind picked up. Startled, Sarah quickly withdrew her hand, her heart racing. But everything around her remained still. Nothing happened, she thought, exhaling deeply. Then she saw it. From the angel's once lifeless, cold eyes, black tears began to fall, thick, tar-like drops that streamed down its face. The ground beneath the statue seemed to wither away as the tears fell, causing the surrounding plants to shrivel and die in seconds. Sarah backed away in terror, but her legs felt as if they were rooted to the ground. The statue began to change before her eyes. The angel's wings unfurled, and an ominous power seemed to animate its form. Voices, whispers, and laughter filled the air, coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. "You are bold," a voice, deep and menacing, whispered. Sarah looked around, but saw no one. The realization dawned. The voice was coming from the statue itself. "You dared to wake me," the angel said, its once immobile, expressionless face now contorted in anger and wrath. Its eyes glowed with black fire. Paralyzed with fear, Sarah couldn't move. The angel extended its hand toward her. "You touched me, and now you belong to me." She felt cold fingers brush against her skin as if her very life force was being drained from her. With each passing second, Sarah felt her strength ebbing away. Her vision blurred, and the world around her faded into pitch-black darkness. The last thing she saw was the angel's face, drawing closer, as though it was consuming her in its infinite void. When her lifeless body collapsed onto the cold ground, the angel returned to its original stance. Its face became once again devoid of emotion, and its wings folded back into place. The moon shone down on the statue, which now stood silent in its dark grandeur. The next morning, Sarah's body was found lying at the base of the Black Angel. Her face was frozen in a mask of terror, and her skin was as pale and cold as marble. The legend of the Black Angel continued, fueled by new stories of those who dared to approach it and never returned. Every year, on Halloween night, the townsfolk would avoid the cemetery at all costs, for it was said that on this night, the angel became the most powerful. They whispered that anyone who gazed into its eyes during this night would vanish forever, becoming part of the shadows that haunted the cemetery. Sarah became just one more of the many who had vanished, her story passed down as a warning to those who dared to challenge the dark forces lurking beneath the bronze wings of the Black Angel.